A modern main battle tank can cost upward of $50 million. It requires a highly trained crew, massive logistical support, and constant maintenance. For decades, this heavy armor was the ultimate symbol of ground superiority. Now look at a loitering munition. A loitering munition is a small, unmanned drone designed to hover in an area for an extended period before crashing into a target with an explosive payload. You can manufacture one of these drones for about $15,000. In recent conflicts spanning Eastern Europe to the Middle East, we are seeing these $15,000 disposable drones consistently hunt and destroy $50 million tanks. The cost of disruption has plummeted. When a cheap, mass-produced machine easily neutralizes a nation's most expensive military asset, the historical economics of combat collapse. This is a pie chart showing the scale of global defense spending in 2024. Because traditional hardware is suddenly highly vulnerable, countries are scrambling to modernize. Over the last 3 years, global military expenditure surged at an 8.6% compound annual growth rate. That is more than double the long-term historical average of 4%. Total military outlay reached $2.6 trillion in 2024. The United States accounts for nearly $1 trillion on its own, with China rapidly scaling past $300 billion. The world's major powers are spending at this accelerated rate because the rules of global deterrence have shifted. To understand why this is happening now, we have to look back to 1991. When the Soviet Union disintegrated, the Cold War's bipolar dynamic ended. For the next 2 decades, the United States operated as the sole global superpower, maintaining a unipolar world order with relatively low friction. That relative stability fractured around 2014. When Russia annexed Crimea, it signaled a return to overt territorial conquests. It proved that the era of a single global policeman was over, replaced by a multipolar reality where regional powers felt comfortable testing boundaries. This dynamic is often described by a concept known as the Thucydides trap. The Thucydides trap is a historical theory suggesting that when a rapidly rising power threatens to displace an established ruling power, severe friction and often war become inevitable. Today, we see this playing out between a rising China and an established United States. Their strategic competition spans economic policy, aerospace, and naval dominance. Because both nations are nuclear-armed, direct conflict carries catastrophic risk. Instead, this rivalry manifests in proxy conflicts, rapid technological investments, and aggressive regional posturing. The Thucydides trap acts as the primary engine accelerating global defense budgets. But policy alone doesn't dictate defense strategy. A nation's military posture is strictly bound by its geography. Governments can change economic systems, but they cannot change their borders or neighbors. Take India as a prime example. It shares vast, disputed land borders with both Pakistan and China. This geography forces Indian planners to prepare for a two-front war. A two-front war is a military scenario where a country must divide its armed forces to fight opposing militaries on 2 separate borders simultaneously. The geographic pressure extends into the ocean. China has been actively developing the String of Pearls strategy. The String of Pearls is a geopolitical initiative where China builds a network of commercial and military port facilities across the Indian Ocean. Facilities in places like Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Djibouti effectively encircle key maritime routes. India imports 80% of its energy needs through these exact shipping lanes. If a conflict erupts, these ports could quickly become military choke points, cutting off critical supplies. Because these physical realities, mountains and oceans, cannot be altered, nations have no choice but to adapt. They counter these strategic encirclements by continuously pouring capital into advanced naval fleets, air defense systems, and coastal security. To defend these borders and shipping lanes, militaries historically relied on enormous, crew-intensive platforms like destroyers and aircraft carriers. These are highly visible, slow to maneuver, and carry thousands of sailors. Compare that to a swarm of unmanned aerial vehicles. A piloted jet has physical limits on how fast it can turn or accelerate because a human pilot will black out from G-forces. Drones have no such biological limits. They can maneuver instantly, changing directions in ways that legacy systems simply cannot track or evade. By combining these agile, unmanned vehicles with precision-guided explosives, militaries execute non-contact warfare. Soldiers no longer need to physically cross a border or enter a trench. They can strike targets from hundreds of kilometers away, using remote sensors and digital fire control systems. Recognizing this shift, major defense departments are actively divesting from monolithic hardware. Instead, procurement is pivoting towards disaggregated systems. A disaggregated system is a military architecture where sensors, weapons, and command centers are separated into many small networked units rather than housed in one large, vulnerable vehicle. On the modern battlefield, mass is a liability. Survival now depends on software, automation, and distributed networks that make large, concentrated targets obsolete. This pivot creates entirely new markets. The counter-UAV sector is currently growing at a 21% annual rate. CUAV stands for Counter Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, which refers to specialized hardware and software designed to detect, jam, or physically destroy enemy drones. But buying these systems from foreign suppliers creates a dangerous dependency. If you rely on imports for your defense, a blockade or a diplomatic falling out leaves your military stranded. To survive in a multipolar world, countries are racing toward indigenization. Indigenization is the process of bringing defense manufacturing and technological development entirely within a country's own borders. We see this exact same pattern in the civilian tech sector. Nations are spending billions to onshore semiconductor foundries to protect their digital supply chains from geopolitical bottlenecks. Defense production is following the same localized blueprint. Nations are still fighting over the same land masses, natural resources, and trade routes they have contested for centuries. The motivations driving these conflicts remain largely identical to those of the Cold War or even the World Wars. What has changed is the technology deployed to resolve them. A tank that costs $50 million and takes years to build can now be neutralized in seconds by a $15,000 drone. In this environment, the superpower of tomorrow won't be the nation that commands the heaviest armor. It will be the nation that can successfully manufacture, deploy, and master the swarm.